when a caterpillar turns into a butterfly, it's a radical transformation. That's why we often use it as an analogy of being born again, because to go from a lowly worm to a flying creature, right? To literally go from crawling on your belly, slimy and yucky, to soaring in the heights. What a beautiful analogy, an apt analogy of being born again and coming into our relationship with Jesus. But because that transformation is so seemingly miraculous, sometimes it's hard for us to believe that it's actually still the same species, right? The caterpillar is the butterfly, pre-butterfly, right? So regardless of the new wings and the body and the new diet, the new, airborne lifestyle, the caterpillar, when the butterfly was the caterpillar, the butterfly was always there, right? So in science, they've done experiments on caterpillars and butterflies, and I believe it was a scent test. They tested a butterfly by introducing to it or reintroducing to it a scent that was introduced to it as a caterpillar. And through their testing, they were able to see that the butterfly responded to the scent in such a way that showed that it had the same memories. So, some people say, the caterpillar, I won't go on to this forever, but I just think it's a powerful illustration for us. But some people say, the caterpillar has to totally die in order for the butterfly to come forth, but that's not technically true. It actually disintegrates and is reformed. It actually becomes like a butterfly soup, not to be too gross, but that's really what it's like inside of the chrysalis, inside of the cocoon, some call it. But it doesn't, even though it goes through a radical transformation, just like we do, right? It's still the same creature. So what does that tell us? That at every stage of our Christian growth, the butterfly is always there. So when it was an egg, the butterfly was still there, right? When it was a caterpillar, the butterfly was still there. When it was in its chrysalis phase as a pupa, the butterfly was still there. It just hadn't come forth yet. So that's an encouraging image for us as a picture of our Christian growth, as our development and our relationship with the Lord, that, even when we still see the yuck, when we still see bad attitudes come up, or we still have wrong tendencies, inclinations, that we're dealing with in our relationship with the Lord, God sees our end. God sees the end from the beginning, right? He's the Alpha and the Omega. And so with that, the scientific names for each stage of the butterfly are the egg, the larva, which is the caterpillar, the pupa, which is the chrysalis phase when it's inside the cocoon, where it really does, it's dark, it's lonely, it's a seeming death to the caterpillar. So it's egg, then larva, then pupa, and then the final stage is the adult stage, and it's called the imago, which is Latin for image. So the image has to come forth, right? The image is always there. It's just veiled and it's coming forth. Nobody sees a caterpillar and thinks that's the end of the caterpillar, right? We all know it's going to become something glorious. And so God has that same vision of each one of us. He looks at us, no matter what's going on in our lives, and he sees what will come forth. He sees what he imagined when he formed us. He sees the imago. He sees what he has planned for us. And that's awesome news.